Hello, everyone. Welcome to Snap Take and happy Hitmonkey release day. You may have noticed we're in the middle of the top 10 cards on Marvel Snap, but a new season pass is as good a reason as any to take a break. We're going to do something a little bit different today with Hitmonkey, but before I tell you what that is, please like and subscribe this video and check us out on Twitter at SnapJudgeCast, where next Monday we'll be giving away another season pass for Hitmonkey. We've given away 3 season passes already. We're going to keep it going, giving away season passes for those of you who either want or need this card and are having some trouble affording it. Hey, even if you can afford it and you'd really like to join, please check it out at SnapJudgeCast on Twitter and make sure you're subscribed here. So, Hitmonkey is this month's season pass card. It is a very cool card. I believe that this is the season pass card in honor of the brand new, fairly violent Hulu show starring Hitmonkey. It is a 2/0. On reveal, gain 2 power for each other card you played this turn. So what we're going to do with this card is very different than usual. What we usually do is I try and build you the best deck possible with it. I did that, and then I realized, well, everyone's doing that. So instead, I want to talk about how to deck build around a card, what to make, and I set the goal of building 3 different Hitmonkey decks today with you guys. Let's take a look at what we can do with Hitmonkey, starting with the first deck. So Hitmonkey is a card that wants to be played late because you have the most energy to gain from him, right? He also wants to be played with several other cards. This all makes perfect sense to me immediately. I want to play a lot of cards, and I want Hitmonkey to be the last one. Great. How do we go about doing that? Well, let's start with saying what else helps me play a lot of cards. And one card in particular itself counts as 3 plays for Hitmonkey. That makes Hitmonkey a 2/6 all by himself. That card is Mysterio. So the second I have Hitmonkey in a deck, I want to add Mysterio. Mysterio is suddenly and immediately, if you buy Hitmonkey, one of the best Season 3s you can buy. Making Mysterio better is going to be one of our main goals, right? Mysterio being able to be played with another card, Bishop, has extra value. Bishop is immediately a 3/4, which is basically the rate for a 3-drop, just by playing it after Bishop. I'm probably going to want to be playing Mysterio last turn, so I'm getting max Hitmonkey value for max energy. Cool. There's one other card I think that goes especially well with these two, and it's a 1-drop. It's a Series 4, so if you don't have it, don't stress it. But it is Bast. Bast says Hitmonkey starts as a 3. Mysterio is now a 2/9. The base Mysterio loses 1 power, but all the clones get +3. And Bishop starts as if you had already played 2 cards. That's going to be stellar. That's my opening combo for Hitmonkey. What else do I want to play? Well, the card that's going to let me play as many of these cards last turn as possible, although I would like Bishop and Bast earlier, is going to be... I went to 5. Good. Is going to be Sarah. Sarah says Hitmonkey and Mysterio are 1s, leaving me 4 more mana to play. Sarah means I want this deck to be largely full of 2-cost cards so that I can get the max value. Okay, I want mostly 2-cost cards. What other card would I really like? Well, there's one other card that's going to just go over the top of me, and that is Shuri Red Skull decks. So I really, really want, even with a majority of 2s, I'm going to be wanting to run Shang-Chi. You can probably build this deck without Shang-Chi. I'm honestly just choosing not to. Right. Now we know we have the skeleton of this deck. This is likely going to be my favorite version of the deck. I know immediately. Because I have Bast, I can look at running things like Darkhawk and Korg, but I think that's a different build, so I'm not really going to push that too hard. Instead, I'm going to go to 3-cost. Instead, I'm going to go to 2-cost and say what else synergizes. Well, Angela is a 2/0. As a 2/0, she benefits greatly from Bast, and in addition, I'm going to be playing a lot of cards. Dropping cards on Angela makes her bigger. It gives me multiple ways to grow in multiple locations. Adam Warlock is worth considering with Bast, but is otherwise an absolutely terrible card, so he's probably not making the cut. What else can we do? We would like other ways to benefit ourselves, other ways to make sure that this deck works. Well, one of those ways is Goose. Shuri and Red Skull are absolutely everywhere. They're going to be extremely hard to combat. Playing Goose early gives us a 2-drop that we can drop nice and quickly, and that will help benefit us. We could conceivably play a Hazmat and Luke Cage package. It wouldn't shock me if that's good, but that's not really what I want to do here. Um, we keep looking. Lizard gets hurt too badly by Bass, so I'd rather not. How about Mojo? Mojo benefits really well for Mysterio, and as a potential 2/8 is one of the stronger early plays in the game. Are there any other cards that we think really benefit us? Okay, I've been arguing for ages that this card belongs in more decks. I think that this is a stellar place for Okoye. I'm not actually going to add her, but if I didn't have Bast, Okoye would be the first card I'd look to add. So Okoye basically gives those Mysterio clones 1, and it gives everything else +2. It does start to make other things difficult to play, though. One of the cards I like to play in all of these decks, where possible, is Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch being a way, she doesn't benefit from from Bass Pump, but she does help clear out a location that would limit our plays. Sentinel helps ensure that we always have something to do last turn, and now I'm stuck on my last card. I've got lots and lots of options. One option would be Star-Lord, as our friend Vin Kelsier chose to do in this deck. On the last turn, you should know where they're going to play, and he helps you win the game that way. Other combinations, other possibilities abound. I think I know where I'm going. I'm just scrolling up and down to make sure that I'm accurate in my choice here. Carnage is a choice to help clear things out. The card that I'm going to be adding here is, in fact, Maria Hill. I like having that extra card to play. If I play her early, I want to make sure I have a full hand to play with my Hit Monkey late, and Maria Hill helps ensure that. While, in addition, give me a decent body should I not see my best. That is going to be the first version of the deck. So I'm going to name this Hit Monkey version 1. Hitmonkey V1, and you will be able to find this deck in the description. So fundamentally, what I did is I started with Hitmonkey, and I said, what cards synergize with Hitmonkey? I went to immediately thinking of Mysterio, who I think is the single best card in the game with Hitmonkey. And from there, what else benefits with Mysterio and Hitmonkey? I got to Bishop and Bast, and then I realized this is starting to look like a Sarah deck, so I added Sarah. And then once I have Sarah, I know I want a Miracle. And this is a absolute ton of 2s, along with the wonderful Shang-Chi. We're going to save this, and then we're going to go and build another deck. So from building with Sarah, excuse me, I'm still clicked on unreleased, I've learned that I want Hitmonkey to be cheaper, right? One way to make Hitmonkey cheaper is Beast. Beast means a bounce deck. So I've got Hitmonkey and Beast now. I know I already want Mysterio, right? So I'm scrolling down and I'm finding Mysterio. So far, so good. We now have several combinations. As always with Mysterio, I'm going to go to my 3-costers. I'm going to go over to my 3-costers, and I'm going to grab Bishop. And once I have these cards, Bast. We have a full complement of cards. We've now got the skeleton of a bounce deck. Okay, what other cards would we like to bounce? What other cards benefit from Bast? We're now looking toward that Hooglin deck, right? So I know Hooglin ran Korg, and Korg fits well. Kitty Pryde would all but certainly go here, were she completely unbugged and in the game. I'm going to leave her out for the time being. So we're going to add Korg. Korg is an excellent 1-drop. As a 0, he's a stellar card. I also want the Hood, because just the power of the Hood on top of Bast is too much to not run. Cool. So far, so good. What do we want to run? Now we have Korg, and that we can bounce Korg. We've got a little package. So we're probably going to also add Black Widow. And now we've got Korg and Black Widow. We want one more card. We want Darkhawk. This is our main package. We need a way to ensure we see this package, though. So our way to ensure we see this package means we run America Chavez. Because seeing these cards late is significantly worse than seeing them early, we want America. Now, we probably need Falcon here. We don't have the number of 1-drops that we'd usually like for Falcon here, right? But we're going to need Falcon strictly because bouncing Korg and bouncing Bast benefits us so much. So we're going to add Falcon. Now, This is crazy. And if I were building this not for a video, I'm telling you what my last card would be. My last card would be Thanos. I think Thanos in this deck seems extraordinarily strong. That said, it is for a video, and I'm not sure the Thanos version works, so instead I'm going to want one more 1-drop. That card is extraordinarily likely to be Iceman. I just want to scroll through the ones and make sure. Iceman gives us the most power of anything right now that we can do. It allows us to weaken them. Playing Iceman multiple times can often just beat an opponent all by itself. Um, Rocket is a very good shout here. Sunspot for when you occasionally play off curve. All right, so this would be the deck. Our goal is fundamentally to play and bounce as many at times as possible with Bishop and Darkhawk out, right? And then on turn 5, make sure Hitmonkey is in our hand, ideally with Beast, and then play a bunch of ones with Hitmonkey as like a 2-8. That's going to be that version of the deck. Excuse me. All right. So far, we've got 2 versions that I like an awful lot. This is going to be Hitmonkey version 2. Bounce. I'm aware that I'm spelling it wrong, but it's fine. We're going to build one more Hitmonkey deck. Just again, we again start with Hitmonkey. We know we want it to be one cheaper at least, so we immediately go, what else can do that? Beast. I've got one more card. The easy answer here for our next deck would be Mr. Negative. Excuse me, fighting off the last of a cold. Mr. Negative is one obvious way, but everyone's making Mr. Negative decks. I want to try and make a different version of a Hitmonkey deck. So I'm going to go with a card that's not seeing as much play lately for the last version of Hitmonkey, and I want to play Quinjet. Here it is. Quinjet is going to say, if I can copy Hitmonkey, Hitmonkey can cost 1. Now, if we want to copy cards, we're going to need Moongirl. So we're immediately going Hitmonkey into Moongirl, if I can find her. Scroll. Oh, I went down too far. We are adding Moongirl. And now, in order to be able to play a lot of cards, we probably want to add things like the Hood and She-Hulk. So I'm scrolling for the Hood. Sorry, I'm scrolling for She-Hulk. Now, on the last turn, I can double She-Hulk, double Hitmonkey for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mana, and gain an absolute ton of power. What other things would I like to double? Well, we go back to our 1-drops, right? What would we like to play 2 of? We would like to play an extra. We don't want Bast here because Bast is going to screw up our She-Hulk. Excuse me, I've still got 6s hit. Things we would like to double. So far, not very much, right? This is looking like this deck might be a loss. Well, I like to double Kitty Pryde, but we're not going to do that right this minute, right? We're not sure if how working she is. Hey, Titania, the Hood. Great. We're also likely passing a turn, so Sunspot has extra value. Other things that we would like to play then. So we're doubling cards. We're playing cards late in the game, right? How else do we do this? Well, honestly, it doesn't seem like it fits, but I'd like Beast. I want to be able to bring this stuff back and do it again. I think that has extreme value here. Playing these on top of Angela seems good. So does playing these with Bishop again. Now, we've got enough that we have to run Mysterio, right? Like, if we don't run Mysterio, we're just being foolish. So we have to run Mysterio as well for an extra way to gain all that extra power. Nice. This is an absolute ton of ways to sort of trigger off this and gain power. Is there anything else we'd like to do or can do here? We'd like a way to get rid of the Hood, so Viper is a real option, but Beast sort of does that for us, so I see no real reason to like push that. I don't want Falcon here. So now I'm just looking at what else I can run. So far, Carnage is a possibility, but again, with only one thing I really want to eat, I'd rather not. We've got Bishop on 3. Is there any other 3 we would like? Well, Agent Coulson looks pretty good, right? Agent Coulson gives us the option of having extra cheap cards with Quinjet. Right now, Quinjet is really only benefiting off Moongirl. That's obviously less than ideal. However, there's not really anything else here I'm dying to put into a deck. I'm dying to play. Except Coulson is great, but even better than Coulson is Shang-Chi. Being able to drop Shang-Chi with a couple of extra cards, either on 5 or on 6, is probably too good to give up. I'm bored of playing Shang-Chi. Let's not do that. Let's remove him. Let's not play Shang-Chi. I actually realized what the last card I want is while I was talking about it. The last card I'd really like to play is one more that really benefits from Quinjet. I want an infinite number of 1/3s. I'm going to run Sentinel. So I'm scrolling down for Sentinel. I don't want Sentinel. So we've got anti-synergy with Sentinel. That is, Moon Girl wants your hand to be a little emptier. So when it copies, you've got a better option of what to copy. Which means we still want a card that clones or copies something, right? I am looking for now. I've decided that the card I'd like to run is I want to have those options. I'm between Coulson and White Queen. I'm going with Agent Coulson for that last spot. I think having multiple options of what to play if I don't see Moon Girl that can be cheaper with Quinjet has really, really great value and makes this deck really hard to plan to play against. The other option, and I'm not playing it because it only benefits 3 or 4 cards in the deck, is to just run Sarah for those games when you don't see your combos and say, Sarah, I can just go absolute miracle here. I'm going to stick with Coulson because I think Coulson fits the theme of this deck better and likely makes it better. But remember, Sarah always has a home. This is going to be our third deck that we've built together with Hitmonkey. Please try these 3 decks out. I'll be sure to get some shorts and TikToks of this deck out. Make sure you're following for those to come. Thanks for watching. Like and sub, and stay tuned later today for the next best card in Marvel Snap as we continue our top 10 countdown. See you then.